And finally, the CEO of the Sea Island Company, Mr. Bill Jones III. Bill?
Thank you, Trey. President Bush, Governor Barnes, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the members of Ocean Forest Golf Club and all of us at Sea Island, I'm very pleased and honored to welcome you to the coast of Georgia. Amateur golf and hospitality have been cornerstones of Sea Island for 75 years. And during that time, we've hosted 6 United States Golf Association national championships. And year after year, generation after generation, families return to Sea Island and the Cloister Hotel to experience the unique charm of this area. President Bush, we're particularly delighted to welcome you back to Sea Island, and we hope that this visit is as enjoyable as your previous visits, starting with your honeymoon with Barbara, and then again when you came and played in the inaugural round here at Ocean Forest. Our history here is rich indeed, and we know many years from now this Walker Cup will occupy a very special place in our history. And as such, all of us in this entire community look forward over the next several days to showing you the genuine warmth and hospitality of this special part of the world. Welcome.
As John Uzieli mentioned, the Walker Cup was conceived in 1920 by then USGA President George Herbert Walker, and we're pleased to have the grandson of George Herbert Walker here with us this evening, Mr. George Walker. And now it is both an honor and a privilege to introduce a great friend to the game of golf, the 41st President of the United States of America, Mr. George Herbert Walker Bush.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Holland. Thank you, guys. Dr. Holland, thank you, sir, and Governor Barnes, Captain Uzieli and Captain Yates, Captain McAvoy, and especially the players and all you fans. It is an honor to be here, especially as a representative of the Walker family. I don't know how many of you are interested in ancient history, but some of you might care to note that Sea Island is, as Bill Jones said, is where I brought my bride Barbara on our honeymoon 56.5 years ago. It is great. Great to be back, but please don't ask which I enjoyed more, the honeymoon or this Walker Cup event. Speaking of Barbara, I've been complaining to her of late that I've been going through something of an identity crisis. I used to be President of the United States. However, a few years ago, I realized people were referring to me as Barbara's husband. And now they introduce me as the father of the President of the United States, or depending on where I am, the father of the governor of Florida. Now, in some cases, I'm not called by any name at all. It's just Old 41. This evening, I'm proud to be called something else, the grandson of Mr. George Herbert Walker. I'd like to tell you just a little bit about him. He received early schooling in England and later in Edinburgh. And all his life, he enjoyed and proclaimed an admiration for the nation and the peoples of Ireland and the UK, England, an admiration that is shared by his grandson, who was president, and his great-grandson, who was president. Like so many former presidents of the United States Golf Association, Mr. Walker felt a high regard and affection for the R&A, the Royal and Ancient. And many golfers, American golfers, share that same feeling of respect and admiration. And perhaps it stems from a warm sense of gratitude, for the R&A gave us the game, in a sense. Anyway, my grandfather, on his own, was a great athlete. As a boy, he was amateur heavyweight boxing champion of St. Louis, a skill I could have used while dealing with the White House press corps. He was a 5-handicap golfer, 6-goal polo player. His favorite pony was named Whiskey, and he'd ridden Whiskey in an earlier chukker. They needed him again in the last chukker, so he was heard hollering to the groom, "Get me Whiskey." And so the story spread that the hard-drinking captain of the St. Louis team had to have whiskey to finish the match. I love that story, and I also love the man. He was tough, but he was a real role model, and he loved the game of golf, the honor, and the traditions of the game. And probably one reason why my grandfather, like his son-in-law, my dad, Prescott Bush, a former senator and also a former president of the United States Golf Association, was that he also had considerable golf skills. My dad was a formidable man both on and off the course, and I learned a great deal from him about the game, about the honor and the traditions of the game, and about playing by the rules. So some of you must be wondering about my game, and now that you know I inherited good golf genes from both the Walker and the Bush families, let's put it this way. One of the things I miss most about being president is somehow back then, during those 4 years, I never lost in a game of golf. No, you'd get out there, you'd have a putt about this. That's good, sir. Put it in your pocket. Now today I'm out there with Griffin Bell and Davis Love and Bill Jones. Little 1-foot putt. Finish it. Putt it, George. Anyway, I'm very proud to be here representing the family along with my cousin George Walker. And let me simply say I salute the United States Golf Association and the Royal and Ancient and all of you who love and respect the traditions of the game. And may I particularly salute the British and the American team, and may the better team win. Thank you all very much.